Oh my God, don't you get sick of your own routine at times? When did I become so bored? It feels like you're just kind of sleepwalking through your life. You're going through the motions. You're kind of on autopilot. Based on the research, simply putting a plan in place to explore your own backyard will bring more excitement into your day-to-day life. Just making the list. If you live in a city, instead of walking the same route to work, take a new one. Instead of going the same way to your workout class or grocery store or even to your friend's house, take a detour. Changing things up, shaking things up is an essential requirement to experiencing joy and happiness in your life. Setting goals is critical to creating a better life. Making a goal and doing it, it does two important things. First of all, a goal of something you're going to do gives you a sense of direction. And second, it defines a... If I could just snap my fingers and put us both on a beach in Bali, like boom, there we are laying on the sand. Oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing? Of course it would be amazing, but let's be honest. We don't have the time to just leave our life behind right now, jump on a plane and go halfway around the world. So here's what we're going to do instead. I'm going to teach you my favorite trick to shaking up your life. It's a little game, and I play this game all the time. It is exactly what you need right now. And what I love about it, doesn't have to cost a thing. It is right in front of your face, just waiting for you to see it. All you need is 30 minutes and the willingness to walk out your front door, and the game begins. So you ready? Great. Let's shake things up. There's a couple of reasons why I love this game. Number one, it is a simple way to shake up your life. I mean, let's face it. You are a creature of habit. So am I. And it doesn't matter if you're in a small town, you live in a rural area, you live in a big city. There are places right around you where you've never eaten. There are coffee shops you've never stepped foot inside of. There are neighborhoods that you've never explored. Museums, art galleries, junk shops, antique stores, secondhand clothing places that you've never opened the door and stepped foot inside. There are lectures that are happening right now at your local library that you aren't even aware of. Sports leagues that you could join. Volunteer opportunities that you've always wanted to get involved in. There are hiking trails, biking trails, walking trails that you've always passed by, but you've never turned and ventured down. You know I'm right. And the second reason why I love this game, never been there, never done that, is because you shouldn't have to wait until you have the time and the money to go on a vacation far away. You shouldn't have to wait to be able to escape your day-to-day life. You know, I was just talking with my colleague, Tracy, who is the executive producer of this podcast, and she was sharing this story that I know is going to resonate with you. So this weekend, she was with her family, and everyone was gathering around, and they were talking about all of these possible places that they could go away on vacation together. Let's go to the Caribbean. How about Patagonia? Wouldn't it be fun to go on safari? I've always wanted to go to Greece. You've done that with your family, right? I mean, it's really fun. It's amazing to put together a big wish list, but it's going to take you 2 years to save the money and block everybody's calendars. I mean, if you're anything like my family or Tracy's family, there's one weekend this summer that your family can actually find overlapping dates to be able to get to the same beach together. And so planning a big, amazing trip to the Caribbean or to go on safari or go somewhere you've never been before, having something like that off in the distance, it is so important, and you should do that. But here's the thing. It's off in the distance. I mean, Tracy and I were just laughing because you want to know what happened with her family at the end of this amazing dream vacation brainstorming session? They had a fun time brainstorming, but there was no vacation planned. Why? Well, because there's not a single date this year that works for anybody. And if you really take a second and you stop and think about your own life, modern life is really busy. I mean, what if I told you that you could do something that is almost as fun as going away on vacation in the next 7 days? You could create your own adventure playing this game. Never been there, never done that. And so that's what we're going to do. And by the end of this podcast, you are going to have generated your own bucket list of things to do and experience in your own backyard. And the way that I'm going to teach you how to do this is I will walk you through 5 different prompts that are going to make you really think about all the different ways that you can explore your own neighborhood or your own city or the varying towns around you. And you are going to make a never been there, never done that list. You don't have to do it in one day. Whatever ends up on the never been there, never done that list, this is something you can pick from once a week from now until the end of the year to keep shaking up your life. Because the research shows when you have something in the future to look forward to, what's so cool about that is you get 2 bumps to your mood and your energy. The first boost that you get to your mood and your energy is simply planning it. Planning it and having something that you're able to look forward to, boom, immediately it boosts your mood and energy, which is what we're going to do right now. Together on the podcast as friends, we are going to plan your never been there, never done that list. And the second time you're going to get a big boost to your energy and your mood is when you actually do the thing on your never been there, never done that list. When you go to a place you've never been to, when you do the thing that you've never done, you are going to feel like a different person. I do this all the time. Trust me, you are going to see. And so I want you to start this process by just thinking about where you live, okay? Maybe you live in a rural area like I do, and you constantly say to yourself, there's nothing to do around here. Or maybe you live in the suburbs and it's like boring. You basically go to like those big shopping areas where the big box stores are, or you know, do the same things. Or maybe you live in a big city, but you really only stick to your neighborhood in the big city. Wherever it is that you live in the world, there is so much under your nose just waiting to be discovered. I once heard somebody describe the area that I live in. Very, very rural area. On the outside, it looks like there isn't squat to do where I live. But what this person said is she's like, it's very deceiving. You know, you look around, you don't see anything. It's sort of like walking by an anthill, right? You literally see an anthill and you're like, that's a little mound of dirt. Nothing interesting going on there. Not true. You look inside an anthill, holy cow, there's a whole world and vibrancy. Same thing about your own backyard. See, the problem is that you drive by the same things, you do the same stuff, and you are missing what is hidden underneath the surface. Something that is waiting for you to unlock all the hidden gems to discover in your own backyard. And if you think about your life experience, I bet you know that this is true. So I'm going to tell you a story to just prove my point. You know, I remember when I moved from the Boston area where my husband and I had lived with our 3 kids for 26 years up to a rural area in southern Vermont. It wasn't until I left the Boston area that I realized I didn't take advantage of absolutely everything that the greater Boston area had to offer. I didn't explore it. I didn't care about it. I mean, I went to the same 3 restaurants. I went to the same coffee shop. I almost never went to Fenway Park. I bet I went to the MFA, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, once or twice in 26 years. Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, you know, the one where there was that huge art heist, maybe once or twice. I never even made it out to the Harbor Islands for the day. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And come to think of it, you know, we moved to this area in southern Vermont, the place that I now live, for 28 years. But let me paint a picture for how little I actually knew about the area. We would drive up there occasionally to go visit my in-laws. We would arrive Friday night after work. We'd put the kids to bed. We would wake up at their house. We would have breakfast at the house with the family. And then we would either go hike, or Chris would play golf, or we would go to one of the 2 ski resorts that are in the area. And then we would come back. We'd have dinner at the house with family. And then we would drive back to Boston on Sunday morning. So for all those years when we would go up to Vermont for a weekend, this was our routine. We never went out to eat other than running to a grocery store. We never really went shopping or did anything. So when our son turned to us 4 years ago and said, I want to move to southern Vermont, I turned to him and I was like, southern Vermont? What? There's nothing there. I mean, that is a place where people go to die. There's nothing to do there. I'm not moving there. And I couldn't have been more wrong. It's just like my new friend said. Any place that you live has a vibrant, active community, like an anthill. So much going on. You're just passing by it. You don't see what's beneath the surface. In fact, right near where I live is the National Fly Fishing History Museum. 28 years I've been driving past this place. Never stepped foot in there. So guess what? It's going on the list. It's something I could do this weekend. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, my colleague Jessie is always raving about this amazing garden center. She says it just goes on for miles and miles, and it is so incredible. I'd never even heard of it. Never been there. Never done that. I'm going to add it to the list. There's also this place where there's this cross-country ski complex where they light the trails with candles. I mean, how freaking cool is that? Never been there. Never done it. Add it to the list. Here's another one. And in fact, this is what I love about this game. You are so into your routine of going to the same 3 restaurants, you haven't even been looking around at all the cool things. And once you start to open your mind to this, you're going to see it everywhere, just like I'm seeing it everywhere. There are all these women that I now know, since I've lived in Southern Vermont for 4 years, who all go to the same CrossFit gym. Never been there, never done that. Adding it to the list. And here's another one. I've just heard that there's a new woman who teaches a bar class on Tuesday nights. She's supposed to be fantastic. She moved to the area. Never even been to the studio she's teaching. I didn't even know it was there. So are you starting to get a sense of what a fun game this is? Good. Because starting right now, you and me, we are starting our never been there, never done it adventure together. Now, I've already added 5 things to my list. And so we're going to keep on having some fun. And we're going to start adding things to your list because the whole point is for you to shake things up, to become more connected, more adventurous, to live a more purposeful life, to explore a little, to shake things up and have a whole lot more fun. And if you've opened up every door in your teeny tiny little town, just go one town over, or go one neighborhood over, or one city block over, and you're going to find a whole new world to explore. Before we talk about these 5 different types of things you're going to add to the list, let's just dig into the science, because there's great science to explain why this never been there, never done that adventure game thing is so awesome. And the 2 areas of research that explain the power of the never been there, never done it list have to do with goal setting and something called habituation. And I'm going to take them one at a time. So the first body of research that I want to talk about is goals. Based on the research, setting goals is critical to creating a better life because dreams and goals, even when they're just as simple as like, you know what I'm going to do this weekend? I'm going to go down to that new garden center, things that you can do in your own backyard. Making a goal and doing it, it does 2 important things. First of all, a goal of something you're going to do, it gives you a sense of direction. And second, it defines a game that's worth playing. See, when you make this list, you're defining micro goals for yourself. And that helps you shake up your life. You're making this action-oriented plan that helps you lift yourself out of the day-to-day autopilot, do the same old stuff all the time, and it creates more meaning and excitement in your life. And I want you to just really stop and consider what I'm saying to you right now. Like, let's just roll the clock forward. It's Saturday morning, okay? You got no plan. You roll out of bed. What are you going to do? Me. Whatever the wind takes me, I'm just going to, wake up and kind of figure it out. You know what you're going to do? You're going to go to the grocery store. You're going to run all the same errands. You're going to get stuck in the house doing chores. You might stop at the place you always get coffee. Next thing you know, Saturday's over. Same old, same old. Well, guess what? The wind is picking up and it's blowing you right into your never been there, never done it adventure. Just imagine it's Saturday morning. You've listened to this podcast. You've got this long list of things on the list, and you wake up and you say, oh my gosh, I'm going to go check out that new nursery today. Or, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to the fly fishing museum today. You know what you just did? You made that Saturday more meaningful, and you deserve to feel that. And your never been there, never done that list is going to help you do it. Now, the second piece of research that I want to unpack for you is all about excitement. And I'm going to ask you specifically, this is not one of those podcast episodes to just listen to, okay? I want you to do something with this. So as you're listening, if you've got the ability to write down your list and jot little notes as I've been talking, do it. If you're not able to make a list because you're driving a car or you're busy walking and taking me on a walk with you, which I love, love, love seeing all the pictures that you guys post as you're listening to the podcast and you don't have a pen, no problem. When you're done with your walk or you're done driving, just make sure that you take the time to jot down some notes and you keep a list. Because check out this research. Based on the research, simply putting a plan in place to explore your own backyard will bring more excitement into your day-to-day life. Just making the list, because you and I get so stuck in the day-to-day slump. I know I do. Oh my God, don't you get sick of your own routine at times? I mean, it's like, my God, when did I become so boring? It feels like you're just kind of sleepwalking through your life. You're going through the motions. You're kind of on autopilot. You know, some days you barely taste the coffee because you make it the same way every day or you order it the same way every day. That's why everybody loves when it's pumpkin latte season, because we're shaking things up. But when you're in that sort of like ho-hum, nothing new, everything's kind of, there's nothing going on here, you don't notice a beautiful view. You don't hear the birds chirping. You don't stop and smell the roses or check out the flowers blooming. This is why we crave a vacation. We want to escape. You think, I got to go to Bali. I got to go on a retreat. I got to get on a vacation. Yeah, you do need to get away. And what I'm going to tell you is simply shaking up your routine is all that research says you need to do. Because when you get into that slump of the ho-hums, you're experiencing a phenomenon that researchers called habituation. Now, this research is so powerful that I've dedicated an upcoming episode to the topic of habituation, the research around habituation, which basically means your routine is slowly killing you. And you're going to learn firsthand from an MIT neuroscientist that habituation, which basically means you've gotten so used to your routine, the same 3 restaurants, the same commute, the same stores that you go into, the same stuff you buy at the grocery store, the same 5 meals that you cook at home. This is why something that can seem awesome on a Monday is suddenly boring on a Friday. This is why if you go to your favorite restaurant and you order the same dish over and over and over again, by the 20th time you've had the homemade bolognese, it doesn't taste as great as it did the first time. Routines are great for locking in a habit, but when your life becomes too routine, it loses its sparkle. And you know that this is true. It's why the person that you were madly in love with, not so sparkly after a couple of years. Your beautiful backyard, not so sparkly. Those breathtaking work of art, if you stare at it for 5 years, not so sparkly. Why? Because you're used to it. Habituation just means you're so used to your life, you stop noticing the most wonderful and beautiful things about your life. And that brings me to another reason why I love Never Been There, Never Done That adventures. It's a way you can see your own life, your own backyard, as if it's brand new. It's a way for you to shake things up and regain a sense of wonder about all the great things in your life that are right under your nose. This isn't just another Saturday. This is a Saturday where you're shaking things up, where you're exploring, and based on decades of psychological, biological sciences. It's the key to seeing, feeling, and noticing things again. And that key is change. By changing your environment, changing up the rules, changing the people you interact with, changing your routine, changing your commute, or even just stepping back and imagining the changes that you're going to make by creating this list and doing all these things that you've never done before. You're shaking things up. Instinctively, you know you need to shake things up. You know when you crave an escape from your life. But based on the research, you don't have to go halfway around the world. You can do it in your own backyard. You and I don't need to find the time and the money to leave our life and go halfway around the world. All you need to do, create this list. Create this list with me. Create this list with me, and then one by one, week by week, just check them off. Because it's so vital to have meaning, adventure, and wonder in your life, and you can do it starting today. So are you ready to begin your Never Been There, Never Done That adventure? Great. I'm going to now walk you through the 5 easy ways to fill out your list and jumpstart your adventure. Go to a new store. It's as easy as that. This is one of the easiest ways to explore your hometown, your city, neighboring towns. Like, just walk down the main street of wherever you live and pop into a store you have never been in before. And I want you to really stop and think about this for a second. There are stores in your town you've never walked into. You know, I was referring to the fact that my husband and I lived in the Boston area for 26 years. I lived near this town called Natick. I was in Natick all the time. I was driving through Natick all the time. And Natick is this awesome town and has this great old downtown area that's just 2.5 blocks long. I bet I never even walked into half those stores in 26 years. In fact, fun fact that I'm just remembering right now, my husband and I have never talked about this on the podcast. We used to have a little retail store. It was a paint your own pottery studio, you know, where you would go in with your kids and sit down and you'd paint mugs and bowls, and then we would fire them in a kiln. You'd pick them up a week later. Everybody loved it. It didn't make any money at all. And it was our first kind of dip our toe in the water of being entrepreneurs together. And this would have been, I mean, our kids were little. This would have been 20 years ago. And even though I was a store owner on the main street that's 2.5 blocks long, I still didn't go into every one of the neighboring stores. How insane is that? But it's true. You're the same way. You know, and if you think about your town or the neighboring town, maybe it's a thrift store or a clothing store, or heck, maybe there's a small grocery store you've never checked out, or it's a store that you don't even know what the heck it is or what they sell, but you just drive by it. You've always kind of thought, oh, you know, I should stop in there. We all have a store like that. Maybe it's somebody who resells old cars and you drive by and you're like, oh, I need to stop by and check that out. You've never stopped in and walked the lot. Or maybe it's a neighboring town and they've got a farmer's market, but their farmer's market is on Thursdays and yours is on Saturdays, and you always go to the Saturday one. Why not go to the one on Thursday? Maybe there are different farms there. Maybe they have live music. Maybe there's something really cool that's going to happen when you shake things up. Maybe it's just about mixing up your routine. And if you really opened up every door in your town, you have no idea what would happen when you walk through that open door. And here's the other thing. Like, in the modern world, you know what we do all day? We online shop. That's what we default to. But what about going in person? I mean, it's so much more fun. It's so fun to just like tap into that instinct to hunt and to gather and to check things out and to talk to the local shop owners and turn things over and take it all in. You know, in fact, when I was driving down here this morning from Vermont to get to our studios here in Boston, we were on Route 2, which runs from, west to east in Massachusetts. And we were in Western Massachusetts. And as we were driving down Route 2, I pointed out to my colleague, Jesse, who was in the car with me, hey, if you ever need an incredible wooden salad bowl, that place right there makes the most extraordinary bowls. And so we're flying down Route 2 at 50 miles per hour. And Jesse's like, how the hell did you know that place sells salad bowls? And I was like, well, because I used to drive up to Vermont for 26 years and I would always pass this place. And when the store's open, they always have these big wooden bowls sitting out on the front lawn, and they've got a hand-painted sign that says handmade wooden bowls. And one year, after passing it for almost 2 decades, I pulled in, I walked in, and wouldn't you know it, they don't just make wooden salad bowls. I mean, this place has been on Oprah's favorite list for wooden salad bowls for several years. I mean, who frickin' knew? The place looks like a shack from the road. And now it's become my go-to wedding gift. So you're starting to catch on, right? That it's all around you, just waiting for you to slow down and discover it. And all you got to do to begin to tap into all that juicy research is add it to the list. Never been there, never done that. This week I'm going. Now we're going to talk about the second way to add to your never been there, done that list. And that's drive, walk, or bike down a new street. And I just love this. I stole this idea from my colleague, Amy, who has the best tradition ever, Whenever Amy and her daughter drive by a street that they've never been down before, oh, check this out. They just turn down it. I mean, imagine that. Simply turning down a street. Hey, let's just go this way. Your GPS will reroute, but simply doing it. They've found incredible farms, beautiful gardens, fresh vegetable and fruit stands. And more importantly, she and her daughter have a blast exploring new places together. And you don't need a car to make this work. If you live in a city, instead of walking the same route to work, take a new one. Instead of going the same way to your workout class or grocery store or even to your friend's house, take a detour. Drive, bike, or walk a different way. You know, one way that I do this in a rural area is that there's all these walking trails, that I take my dogs YOLO and Homie on. And every once in a while, if I'll have a little bit of extra time, I'll just follow a different marker and go on a different loop. And sometimes it's absolutely amazing. Sometimes it's sort of meh. But the most important thing, according to the research, is that changing things up, shaking things up, is an essential requirement to experiencing joy and happiness in your life. And I also want to bring in another example. If you've ever traveled to a new city for work or for vacation and you've got a chance to explore it, what do? You wander. You are constantly walking down streets you've never been before. I recently went on a mother-daughter trip, took my girls to Paris. We walked 20,000 steps a day. And when we got tired of walking, you know what we did? We hopped on those electric bikes that are all over every major city, and we just rode bikes all over the place. We had no idea where we were. We were just exploring. I'm here to tell you that is available to you, that sense of adventure, to the area that you live. And all you got to do the next time you drive, walk, or bike is just turn down a new street. Take a detour. You never know what you might see, but I can guarantee what you will feel. You will feel that boost to your mood and that energy that research says will happen from that little burst of adventure. Now, the third way to keep filling out your never been there, never done that list, go to a museum, art gallery, library, or some sort of public green space and take it in. Recently, my parents were visiting from Michigan because it was our son Oakley's high school graduations. And one of the things that I always do when my folks visit is I just pack the time together to keep everybody busy and on the move and doing stuff. And so when I knew they were going to come for 3 days for Oak's graduation, I started to plan their 3-day visit. And I was basically making a never been there, never done that list. And I got to tell you something, it was so revealing. There are so many places I had never been, things I had never done. And so I just started adding them to the list. And one of the biggest ones was going to a museum nearby. It's one of my favorite things to do with my mom. And so I had heard about this place called the Clark Art Institute, which is, about an hour away from where I live. Oh my God. I had no idea that one of the world's largest private art collections in the world is just an hour away from me in Williamstown, Massachusetts. I'm talking a town of 7,000 people. They have an entire room of Renoir paintings. And by entire room, I mean like 40 of them. Winslow Homer, check. Degas, check. Remington, check. All the Impressionists, check. 19 different rooms filled with paintings, sculpture, prints, drawings, photos. I mean, it was jaw-dropping. All the artists from the Impressionist era that you know. I mean, I just mentioned that I was in Paris. The collection, less than an hour from me, in a town of 7,000 people, was more impressive than that Museum d'Orsay. I can't even say it, the one with the big clock on it. Holy cow, I thought I was in Europe. Oh, and did I mention, it's on 145 acres that are landscaped in this incredible way. I mean, my jaw is still on the floor. My favorite portrait painter, John Singer Sargent, check. I mean, I cannot believe I did not know it was there until I started to dig into what to do with my parents. How did I not discover it was like, could not believe I had never been there and never done that. And there are things within an hour of you that will put your jaw on the floor. And tell you what, now that I've been there and done that, I'm going to go again and again. That's how amazing it was. And I still can't believe that as a matter of 3 days ago, I'd never been there. I mean, do you know how much shock and awe and amazement is just waiting for you to come find it? That's why I want you to fill out this list. And the fourth way that you can keep filling out this never been there, never done that list is by trying a new type of food or cooking something new. Now, I'm a huge foodie. I love, love, love cooking. I also love trying new restaurants whenever I'm traveling. I love just wandering down a street and discovering some hole in the wall or some incredible neighborhood restaurants. I mean, isn't that like the best part of traveling? Wandering through the markets or the food stands. And so it does kind of beg the question, if we love to do that when we travel, why do you and I go to the same 2 restaurants every weekend? Well, you heard the research from the MIT neuroscientist, habituation. You get really stuck in a routine and it dulls your senses. I'm the same way. But a great way to create a never been there, never done that experience for yourself is to fill it with new places to eat, new markets to shop in, or a new recipe to try at home. And so I'll give you an example. Last month, I did this really fun thing with our son, Oakley. Oakley's gotten really into cooking lately, and he has been saying over and over again that he wants to learn how to make bread from scratch, and not any bread. He wants to learn how to bake sourdough bread. And sourdough bread baking has been on my list for ages, but never been there, never done that. I've always made excuses. I don't have enough time. It's really complicated. We can buy great sourdough bread at the farmer's market, so why on earth would I hassle with this when for $5, somebody who's an expert can do it better? I digress. I finally said to Oakley about a month ago, all right, Oak, let's do it. So we printed out an article on how you make the starter, you know, the kind of like yeasty, really sour part of it from scratch. I mean, we went old school. And my grandparents were immigrants from Austria. They owned a bakery. And so I'm like, I got this. This is in my DNA. My grandmother made German and Austrian pastries her entire life. Sourdough? Not that simple, okay? Just kind of not that simple. So Oakley and I go through the process and we make the starter for the sourdough bread. Never been there, never done that. This is a very tedious process. This is a 7-day process, okay? You have to take like 1 part white flour, 1 part wheat flour. You got to add a little water in, then you got to let it sit like every day for the 7 days. You're like looking at it, you're stirring it, you're dividing it in half. We get to day 4. I mean, it's like having a newborn baby that you got to take care of. And we're getting the hang of it. It's starting to bubble. It's starting to double in size. And I had to leave on day 4 to come down to Boston to do some work. Guess who left the starter unattended? Guess who didn't feed the baby? Guess who left the baby on the counter? I mean, this wasn't just a starter. When Oakley and I did this project, I went on social media. I put up like photographs. You guys all kind of chimed in. Fans of the show named our starter. You want to know what the fans of the Mel Robbins podcast named our starter? Dolene. Yep, really cute name, Dolene. Cute. When I came back, that starter was not ready to bake bread. That starter was dead as a doornail. My son killed the starter. He actually put it outside in the jar to hide it from me. He knew he was in trouble. Now, what I love about this story is that this is an example of a never been there, never done that adventure that fail. Huge failure. We didn't even make the bread. But holy cow, was it fun. You can even hear, as I'm talking about it, the boost in my mood, right? You can hear the energy. The research is playing out. It's true. Simply planning to do something, 1 boost. I got all excited looking for starter recipes. Doing the thing, another boost. And now I'm getting a 3rd boost because I'm telling you a story about it and I'm kind of reliving it. And here's another example of how simply trying a new place can change your life. So a year ago, I discovered one of my all-time favorite coffee shop cafe places on the planet. I mean, I probably go to this place 3 times a week. I go for coffee, I go for matcha, I go for the homemade croissants. On the weekends, my husband and I go out back and we have an alfresco dinner. Now, here's the catch. This place has been open for 7 years. I have driven past this place for 7 years. Why did I not go inside? Well, because my friend Jessie, who I referred to, told me, "Oh, have you been to such and such?" And I was like, "No, what is that place?" And she's like, "Oh, it's like a beer garden. They serve, amazing beer and tinned fish." And I'm like, why would I go to a place that serves beer and tinned fish? That sounds disgusting. Well, I'll tell you why. Because as my mother said, try it. You might like it. Seriously. So I walk into this place one day. It turns out it's like beer garden in the back, French pastry phenomenon in the front. They make the best coffee. They have the single best croissants on the planet that they hand roll. They sell out within 15 minutes of the doors opening every Saturday and Sunday. I didn't realize that out back was not necessarily a beer garden. It's like this al fresco dining place where they make sourdough pizzas and like oysters and incredible. Like it is like being in Napa Valley in my own backyard. Oh my God. I had dismissed it before I even tried it. I was so wrong. And you're so wrong about a place that you keep driving by. So even if you're like, I don't know how I feel about fondue. I don't know if I like old cars. Add it to the list. And speaking of the list, the final thing that you should add to your never been there, never done that list, join a sports league, sign up for a community service group, or volunteer somewhere. And this is a huge, huge thing to do, especially if you are in a new city. If you're young in a new city, you want to know one of the best ways you can make new friends, join a kickball league. You don't have to be an athlete. Hell, you don't even have to be able to climb up a flight of stairs to be able to join a kickball league. You just show up, you make friends, you laugh, you hang out afterwards. It is so much fun. Another way to build community instantly and explore your backyard, volunteer. Our son Oakley had this experience freshman year in high school when it was after school and he wandered into the cafeteria because he thought he had forgotten something in there after school. And these are his words, not mine. There were a group of grandmas in the school cafeteria just chopping up a storm and cooking and chatting away. And Oakley walked up to them and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they explained that they are this organization called Grateful Hearts that takes all kinds of food donations from farmers markets and farms, and they then chop it all up and cook it all into people in our community who are food insecure. And so Oakley put down the book that he left in the cafeteria and said, "Can I help?" Put on an apron. And for 4 years, he's been hanging out with the grandmas in our communities, doing what they called chat and chop and cooking food, which is how he got interested in cooking. It changed his life because when you volunteer, you not only feel connected with the other volunteers, but you connect more deeply with yourself. You learn more about your community. So you could sign up to weed a local garden. You could be a hospice volunteer. That's what my husband Chris does. Every single Thursday, he picks up meals from local restaurants that are donated, and then he drives them and drops them off to hospice patients in and around the southern Vermont area. You can chat and chop with all the grandmas like Oakley does. You could help out at a 5K or a half marathon. I could go on and on and on. And if you don't know of any place to volunteer, just look for the Facebook group for your town. Go online, call the town clerk's office, walk into your local library, and I guarantee you people will be filled with ideas. Add them to the list. All right. There you have it. You got 5 simple ways to start your never been there, never done that adventure. So let me remind you of them again. Go to a new store. Drive, walk, or bike down a new street. Go into museums, art galleries, libraries. Try a new type of food or cook a new recipe. It doesn't even have to be good. Mediocre is good enough because just doing something different shakes it up. Or join a sports league, a community service group, or volunteer. Because you can shake things up. You can be more adventurous. You can design and live a more purposeful life, and you can do it in your own backyard. In fact, your next adventure is just waiting for you. All you have to do is open that door and walk in. And in case no one else tells you, let me be the first person to tell you today that I love you and I believe in you. And I believe in your ability to create a better life. And it starts with one never been there, never done that list and knocking it off one Saturday at a time. Alrighty, I'll talk to you in a few days. And thank you for being here with me on YouTube. You better be making your list. And in fact, this is a great episode to share with friends of yours because there's no reason why you can't do your never been there, done that list with a friend. I mean, come on now. We all need to shake things up. And if you love this episode, take a second and please subscribe. That's how I know you love this. It's a way you can support this channel. And it's a way for me to continue to bring you brand new videos every single day that will inspire you and empower you to create a more meaningful life. And now that you subscribe, thank you, thank you. If you love this episode, I got another video for you to watch. You're going to love this next episode. How to change your life in 6 months. This one hack will make it happen, where you're going to learn how to go from thinking about what you want and putting it on the list to actually taking action and making it happen. Check it out.